For me personally, as I reflect back on my life, there is just too much evidence for me to ever deny my faith. When I look back on the history of my life, sometimes I can hardly believe that I survived. Every obstacle, every challenge, all the devastating surgeries, every medical and scientific fact says that I should not be alive. I was given less than 6 months to live in February of 1990. I was just 6 years old, and I'll be turning 41 this summer. If you haven't already, check out last week's episode 2 of my Top 10 Answers series, What Happened to You? I grew up Catholic. Faith and religion was always a very big part of my upbringing, very important to my family. I went to Catholic grammar school. I also attended Catholic high school. My family was very active in the church. We attended Mass every Sunday. I received all of my sacraments. I remember my mom saying prayers with my siblings and I every night before bed. We said grace before all of our meals. One thing that really sticks out for me is that I just felt such a sense of comfort and safety in my religious community. Everybody was extremely kind, loving, and supportive. However, it wasn't until I first got sick that I really started to understand the power of faith and prayer. In those initial days, when I first got sick in 1990, and my parents were so devastated and scared and felt so lost because even the doctors had no idea what was going on with me, they immediately turned to our faith. My mom placed a call to our family pastor and asked him, please, can you go to the congregation and pray for a miracle for Christoph? Despite receiving a death sentence, I was discharged from the hospital a few weeks later on Good Friday. And on Easter Sunday, our family pastor invited me to the front of the church, in front of the entire congregation, so that they could see that their prayers had been answered. There I was, just 6 years old, a living miracle. And even at that young age, as I looked out into the crowd, I knew that the power of prayer played a large part in why I was still alive. Just a few years later, I received the incredible honor of being blessed by Pope John Paul II at the United Nations during one of his visits to the United States. And since receiving that blessing, miracles have been showing up for me consistently throughout my life. And the best way for me to describe it is, it's one of those things that you don't necessarily realize in the moment. It's only now as I reflect back on my life and I connect the dots, so to speak, that I'm able to see the presence of God and my faith and prayers consistently being answered. And believe me, I am human. I have definitely had moments where I've questioned my faith, where I've been confused about my faith, where I scream at God and I'm like, what is this for? What are you doing to me? Why do I have to suffer like this? It was really hard for me, especially at some of my lowest and darkest points, to just make sense of everything. I couldn't understand it. Again, in that moment, it was too hard to make sense of or even put those pieces together. And over the years, I've learned that faith is not a linear path. It goes in all kinds of different directions. I've also learned that faith is a very personal thing. While we do share a lot of common beliefs on a grander scale, your relationship with your faith, religion, and God, or whatever higher power you believe in, it's a very personal bond. And so while there may be similarities across the board, it's not going to look the same for everybody. And in that same vein, I fully respect everyone's beliefs. I want my platform to be a place of safety and comfort that people from all walks of life can come and openly share without fear of judgment or criticism. Whatever you choose to believe in or not believe in is completely fine by me and my entire community, because that's what we stand for. I also don't view God as a punishing God, and I really don't like when people use God as a figure of fear or something to hold over people's heads just so that they act morally correct. I spent too much of my life feeling bad about myself, hating certain aspects of my personality, or thinking that I was gonna burn in hell for all eternity just because I was displeasing God for living my life. And so that's what I mean about everybody having their own personal relationship with God and their faith. Because over the years, I've learned to embrace certain aspects of my personality that may not necessarily be in accordance with other people's beliefs. And another thing, having faith does not discredit science or all of the hard work and talent from physicians, nurses, and my entire medical team. My mother is a physician, my sister is a nurse. I have so many people in the medical field in my family, my friend circle, my community. Many of the people from my medical team throughout my entire history have become actually close loved ones in my life that I share very, very special bonds with. And so a 60-second video of me praising God as the Most High does not take away from all of the hard work that the medical team has played in saving my life and the immense gratitude that I have for each and every one of them. And so for me personally, as I reflect back on my life, there is just too much evidence for me to ever deny my faith. And while I humbly recognize that there are things at work that are so much bigger than me, that are so much larger than I could ever comprehend, I also know that God has me here for a reason. I know now more than ever that I have been called by God to share my testimony with the world. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again next week. New episodes every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and all the support links to my book, my short documentary, and the GoFundMe, as well as all of my other platforms, are in the About section of my homepage. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode.